You wake up on a Tuesday morning, like every other Tuesday morning. Alarm at 6:45, coffee, traffic, a boss who barely knows your name. Then you check a number on your phone. 6, then another. 12, 29. Your hands start shaking before your brain even understands why. 41, 53, Powerball, 9. Every single number matches. Not 4 out of 6, not 5 out of 6. All of them. You just won $600 million. And here's the part nobody tells you. The moment you win isn't the happiest moment of your life. It's the most dangerous. Because in the next 60 seconds, one decision will determine whether you spend the rest of your life in peace or become the target of every scammer, reporter, distant relative, and criminal looking for a shortcut to your fortune. Most winners make the same mistake. They celebrate first. They call their family. They post a picture of the ticket. They tell one friend who promises not to tell anyone. Then that friend tells someone else. Within hours, the secret isn't a secret anymore. Today, you're going to experience the opposite. This is what it actually looks like to win $600 million and spend the rest of your life making sure nobody ever finds out. No giant mansion, no luxury car posted online, no interviews, no public celebration, just one person, one fortune, and a plan that keeps both alive. Before we begin, if you're new here, this channel explores the financial decisions that separate people who get rich from people who stay rich. Because making money is one skill, keeping it is another. Now let's rewind to the exact moment your life changes forever. It's 11:47 p.m. The lottery drawing has just ended. You're sitting on your couch, holding the ticket while the numbers on television match the ones in your hand. Your first instinct is to scream, to call your parents, to text your best friend, to run outside and tell the first person you see. Instead, you say absolutely nothing. Not your spouse, not your parents, not your closest friend. Because the moment another person knows, the secret has its first leak, and every leak eventually becomes a flood. Experts who work with major lottery winners often say the people who remain anonymous the longest are the ones who told nobody during the first 24 hours, not because they didn't trust their family, because they understood that secrets spread faster than money. The next thing you do is surprisingly simple. You sign the back of the ticket using your full legal name. An unsigned winning ticket is essentially a bearer instrument. If it's lost or stolen before it's claimed, proving ownership becomes much harder. Then you make several copies of both sides. The original goes into a fireproof safe. The next morning, it moves into a bank safety deposit box. It never stays in your wallet. It never sits on the kitchen counter. It never appears in a photograph. Not today, not next year, not ever. Then you do something that sounds completely insane. You go to bed. $600 million is waiting for you, and you go to sleep. Because nothing good happens during an adrenaline rush. The prize isn't disappearing overnight. Depending on where you live, you may have months before you need to claim it. There's no reward for rushing, only risk. The next morning begins the real work. You don't call the lottery office. You don't call your family. Instead, you search for something you've probably never searched before. A lawyer who specializes in lottery winners and sudden wealth. This single phone call could save you from years of problems. Because before anyone knows your name, your lawyer begins building a wall around it. In many states, lottery prizes can be claimed through a trust or another legal entity. That means the public doesn't necessarily see your name. They see the name of the trust. Instead of television stations announcing that you won $600 million, they announce that a trust claimed the prize. No photograph, no home address, no face connected to the money. That one decision changes everything. Because once your identity becomes public, you can never make it private again. Reporters start calling, strangers appear at your house, old classmates suddenly remember your birthday. People you've never met begin asking for money. Some are desperate, some are manipulative, some are dangerous. Your lawyer quietly creates the trust. Every document is prepared before anyone knows what's happening. Next comes the second member of your team, a fiduciary financial advisor. Not someone selling investments, someone legally required to put your interests first. Someone who has managed sudden wealth before. Then comes a CPA who specializes in high net worth taxation. Because $600 million isn't what reaches your account. Taxes will remove an enormous portion before you ever spend a single dollar. Your circle now consists of only 3 professionals: an attorney, a financial advisor, a CPA. That's it. 3 people bound by confidentiality. Everyone else still believes you're living an ordinary Tuesday. Now the financial reality begins. The advertised jackpot is $600 million, but that's the annuity value. If you choose the lump sum, which most winners do, you receive far less up front. Instead of $600 million, the cash value might be around $330 million before taxes. Then federal taxes arrive. Depending on your state, state taxes may follow. By the time everything is paid, the amount reaching your account could be closer to $200 million. Still life-changing, still more money than most people could spend in several lifetimes, but far less than the headline everyone else believes. That misunderstanding alone creates enormous danger. People will assume you're worth $600 million. They'll ask for amounts that seem small to them, but are enormous to you. Your financial advisor runs every scenario: lump sum, annuity, investment projections, future tax obligations. After reviewing decades of modeling, your team recommends taking the lump sum, not because it's exciting, but because disciplined investing gives it the greatest long-term potential. The decision is made. Now comes the day you actually claim the prize. Claim day arrives, and it's almost anticlimactic. Exactly the way you planned it. There are no balloons, no oversized check, no television cameras waiting outside. In states that allow trust claims, your attorney handles almost everything. The paperwork is submitted, the trust is verified, the funds are wired directly into accounts your financial team prepared weeks earlier. No celebration, no spotlight, just a notification quietly appearing on your screen. Your life has changed forever, and almost nobody knows. If your state requires public disclosure, things become more complicated. Some states still require winners to reveal their identity. That's why where the ticket was purchased can matter almost as much as the ticket itself. In your case, the trust protects your identity. The only public information is the trust's name and the county where the ticket was sold. Nothing more. No reporters outside your home, no interviews, no strangers knocking on your door. Just silence. And that silence is worth millions. Now comes the hardest part of the entire journey. Not investing, not taxes, keeping the secret. The next morning, you still wake up at the same time. You still drive the same car. You still stop for coffee. You still show up at work. Nobody notices anything different. Meanwhile, more than $200 million quietly sits behind a legal structure connected to your name. This is where most winners fail, not because they make bad investments, because they can't resist telling someone. Psychologists have found that carrying a major secret creates a constant mental burden. You replay conversations in your head. You almost let something slip. Someone complains about money, and every instinct tells you to solve their problems, but you don't. Instead, you build a plan. Your lawyer and financial advisor encourage you to have one confidential outlet. Often, that's a therapist experienced with sudden wealth, someone you can speak to without risking your privacy. Then you create a timeline. Who will eventually know? When? Under what circumstances? Maybe your parents after a year. Maybe your closest family once every legal structure is complete. Not because you don't love them, because once information leaves your mouth, you can never control where it goes next. Even generosity needs boundaries. If you decide to help someone financially, it happens through careful planning, not emotional decisions, not surprise gifts that raise questions. The second rule is even harder. Avoid lifestyle inflation. You don't buy a supercar. You don't suddenly move into a mansion. You don't start wearing watches worth more than your annual salary. Because people notice changes. A new car becomes questions. Questions become curiosity. Curiosity becomes investigation. And investigation destroys anonymity. Instead, every improvement happens slowly. A nicer holiday, a slightly better car after a few years, home improvements spread over time. Everything has a believable explanation. A promotion, a successful side business, an investment that worked out well. Nothing dramatic, nothing suspicious. The goal isn't pretending to be poor. The goal is making your success look ordinary. Now let's talk about the money itself, because leaving over $200 million in one bank account would be one of the biggest mistakes you could make. Your advisor builds something that resembles a fortress. The first layer is liquidity, enough cash for everyday living and emergencies, comfortable, accessible, but not excessive. The second layer is protection. The majority of the money stays inside carefully designed trusts. Some provide flexibility while you're alive. Others protect assets from future lawsuits or estate complications. Every structure serves a purpose. Every account creates another barrier between you and the outside world. The third layer is investing, not flashy investments, not risky bets. Broad index funds, high-quality bonds, commercial real estate, diversified assets spread across different sectors and markets. The goal isn't becoming richer overnight, it's making sure you'll never have to worry about money again. With disciplined investing, even a modest annual return could generate millions every year without touching the original fortune. That changes the way you think. You're no longer spending the jackpot, you're living on what the jackpot earns. Then comes something many people overlook: giving. You've always imagined helping people if you became wealthy. Now you finally can. But generosity also requires structure. Instead of writing personal checks to everyone who asks, your team helps establish a charitable foundation or donor-advised fund. Now your donations create real impact while protecting your privacy and improving tax efficiency. Schools, hospitals, scholarships, community projects. People receive help, but they never know who quietly made it possible. By now, your financial life barely resembles that of an ordinary person. Everything has layers. Every account, every investment, every legal document, every decision answers one question. If someone followed every pound back to its source, could they find you? Your team works every day to make sure the answer is no. Then your security consultant asks one final question. What happens if someone finds out anyway? That's the question that changes everything. The security consultant doesn't begin by talking about bodyguards. Instead, they ask a simple question. What happens if someone discovers the truth? Because history has shown that public lottery winners don't just receive congratulations. Some receive threats. Some face harassment. Some become victims of fraud, stalking, extortion, and even violence. That's why protecting your identity isn't paranoia, it's risk management. The first step is your digital life. Old social media accounts are reviewed. Posts revealing where you live, where you work, your daily routine, your children's school. Everything is carefully cleaned up. Location tagging is permanently turned off. You stop posting in real time. If you share photos at all, they're uploaded days later. Nobody can follow your movements. Nobody knows where you are. Next come public records. Where legally possible, your attorney keeps your personal address away from property records. Real estate is purchased through legal entities. Business registrations use registered agents instead of your home address. Mail is redirected through secure addresses. Every layer makes you a little harder to find. Then comes something unexpected. Your routine stays exactly the same. You still visit the same supermarket. You still exercise at the same gym. You still live your life without attracting attention. Because disappearing overnight creates questions. Looking ordinary is often the safest strategy of all. You also prepare for the worst. If someone somehow discovers your identity, who do you call first? What legal action can your attorney take? What information should never be shared? Every answer is prepared long before it's ever needed. Hope is never the strategy. Preparation is. A year passes, then 3, then 5. Your life settles into something surprisingly normal. You still drive a reliable car. Maybe it's newer than before. Maybe your holidays become a little nicer. But every change happens gradually enough that nobody thinks twice. The mortgage quietly disappears. The house remains the same. From the outside, your life looks almost unchanged. Your children continue living the life they already knew. Their friends never realize anything happened. Their education continues without unnecessary attention. Normality becomes the greatest luxury your money ever buys. Eventually, a few people learn the truth. Maybe your spouse knew from the beginning. Maybe your parents learn after everything is legally protected. Maybe 1 or 2 lifelong friends find out years later. But every conversation happens carefully. Every person understands the responsibility that comes with the secret. You don't need hundreds of people celebrating your success. A handful of trusted people is enough. Over time, something unexpected happens. The fear begins to disappear. The constant pressure of protecting the secret slowly fades because it isn't really a secret anymore. It's simply your life. You've built systems so strong that you rarely think about the money. Instead of managing the fortune every day, the fortune quietly manages itself. Your investments continue growing. Your trusts continue protecting your assets. Your charitable foundation continues helping people you've never met. Without interviews, without headlines, without anyone knowing your name. One afternoon, years later, you're sitting in a cafe watching the lottery numbers appear on the television. Someone wins another massive jackpot. The people around you begin talking excitedly. What would you buy? I'd quit my job. I'd tell everyone. You smile quietly because you've already lived that conversation and you know something they don't. The real challenge isn't winning the lottery, it's surviving it. Winning $600 million changes your bank account in a single day. Protecting it becomes the work of a lifetime. And that's the lesson hidden inside this entire story. Money doesn't automatically create freedom. Without structure, it creates pressure. Without discipline, it attracts problems. Without privacy, it can completely change the life you were trying to improve. The people who keep extraordinary wealth don't simply make smart investments. They make smart decisions before they spend their first pound. They build legal protection. They surround themselves with trusted professionals. They stay patient. They resist the urge to impress people who never were going to matter. Whether you're managing $600 million or $60,000, the principle stays exactly the same. The less attention your money attracts, the more freedom it gives you. Because real wealth isn't measured by how many people know you're rich. It's measured by how peacefully you can live, because they don't. So here's the question. If you woke up tomorrow and discovered you'd won $600 million, could you really keep it a secret? Not for a week, not for a month, for the rest of your life? Let me know what you honestly think in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more deep dives into the financial strategies that quietly shape the lives of the wealthy. Thanks for watching.